So I was doing some research the other day, as I do. I'm a fan of this DJ scene. I love reading new information and finding out as much as I can about people. And I stumbled across this article, right, about a well-known DJ, loads of hype around him at the moment. Of course, it's Fisher, right? So I read this article about Fisher, and they are talking that Fisher apparently doesn't produce his own music, which comes as a surprise to me because I didn't know any different. I thought Fisher was a DJ producer and that he made all his own music. So when I stumbled across this article, I was a bit surprised. I was like, okay. I took it with a pinch of salt. I thought, I'm not going to go in thinking, no, it's not true. I'm going to go with an open mind. We're going to find out whether this is true. So I'll throw it up on the screen. It's by a website called akm.co. I mean, never heard of them, but we'll go with it anyway, right? So basically the article breaks down, and the theory here is that Fisher is actually being ghost produced by Chris Lake. Now, Chris Lake is a producer. I wouldn't kind of put him in one genre of music because he likes to kind of dabble in a little bit of everything. He does stay around the house sort of genre, but he does make a little bit of everything, right? So in terms of that, it makes sense. Chris Lake he has got multi-talented in terms of the genres he can produce. So, we'll, at the moment anyway, we'll keep an open mind, right? So Chris Lake apparently is a ghost producer for DJ Fisher. They've called him DJ Fisher. I don't know why Fisher, right? Apparently, for the first singles, Yeah Kidding and Stop It, which were Fisher's first singles, I believe, or at least taken from his first album or his first EP, on the kind of official legal place where you have to post who is the producers of the song, who are the composers of the tracks. Chris Lake, as you can see, is actually listed as a songwriter / composer. So for the first two tracks that Fisher released, Chris Lake is he's down as being credited as producing those tracks, as making those tracks with Fisher. Now, does this mean that Fisher doesn't make his own music? It's one of them, isn't it? Both the names are down there on the song, legal documents. So does that just mean that it's all Chris Lake? I don't think so. I think that listen, because first of all, let's just go into a little bit of background about Fisher. What I also found out on this article. Fisher was a well-known surfer for many years, known for his personality more than his actual surfing ability. But he apparently has become friends with this Chris Lake, who's a massive DJ and producer. Imagine you was trying to get into the DJing and the music scene, and you had a friend like Chris Lake. Why would you not want to get that guy helping on your records? Imagine. You're trying to break through into the scene, you're learning how to make music, you've got your mate Chris Lake, you think he's not going to give him a call and try and work a track out together and make a good track? I think he'd be stupid not to. So, especially for the first few tracks where he is listed as a composer, fair play, it makes sense. But, of course, the theory here is, losing it apparently it doesn't have Chris Lake down as a composer. So does that mean that Fisher made all of Losing It? Or does that mean that Fisher has released Losing It under his name and kind of, they've made a deal on the side where Chris Lake gets, most of the money or whatever, and Fisher releases it as his own track? Aside from the fact that Chris Lake is down as a producer on the first few Fisher tracks, there's nothing else to really support that Chris Lake ghost produces all of Fisher's tracks, The idea is there that maybe Fisher got some help creating his first few tracks. Then on, after he maybe learned, perfected his craft a little bit more, he managed to make his own music and kind of put his own stamp on it. But of course, there are a lot of people theorizing that tracks like Losing It are so kind of perfectly mastered, they're so kind of unique, that maybe someone with as little experience as Fisher's got couldn't make a track like that. And there is a valid point there, of course, to be made, that, maybe he couldn't. A lot of producers struggle to make tracks as good as that, and many of them try, many of them fail. So does that mean that the track is, and Losing It and the tracks beyond that, like Little Beauty, does that mean that these tracks are produced by Chris Lake and not Fisher? Listen, we'll never know for sure, but we can theorize, we can kind of work out, using a bit of logic and try and come to some sort of conclusion, right? So I think that Fisher's brand is bigger than just the tracks he's released, right? His personality is the biggest in the DJ scene, especially the house scene. So much energy behind the decks. You can always see he's having a good time. One thing it reminds me of is of a well-known DJ called Scream said something along the line of, listen, people, when they come to see DJs perform, they don't just want to see a DJing, just playing music. They want to see the DJ having a good time. They want to see the DJ get involved. They want to see the DJ in the music as much as they are, because it just elevates the crowd. It elevates the night. It makes everyone have a good time. It makes everyone on the same page, right? And Fisher's better than anybody at that. You watch videos of him behind the decks, and he's got his flicking the wrist. He's controlling the crowd. It's crazy, right? So, is it a case of Chris Lake's producing these tracks and Fisher's taking them, putting his name to it, and there's the brand? Chris Lake has the music. Fisher has personality. They put them together. They're making a shitload of money, and they're creating a lot of buzz. Maybe that's what's happened. I personally think that there's some kind of in-between balance that works there, right? I think that Fisher's probably tried to get into the music scene, sent some demos over to Chris Lake. Chris Lake sent them back. They've kind of worked on a track together. Chris Lake's on, listen here, I'll go down as a composer. We'll release it under your name. And it's kind of built up from there, the success of the first tracks. And then, it's kind of made sense in terms of the labels. It's made sense in terms of money, in terms of the brand, just to release it under Fisher's name. And Chris Lake's been there helping him out. That doesn't necessarily mean that Fisher's now a fake DJ and that his tracks are pointless or he shouldn't get the respect he deserves, because he absolutely should, right? Because it takes a lot to perform and to have the personality and to have the confidence and to have the drive that this guy has. So it's not just about the music. By the way, he is listed as a composer and a producer on. Rightly or wrongly, that's their writing. You can kind of say, oh, maybe that's just there for whatever reason, but it is down as black and white. So you've got to take that on board as well. But let me just put this out there. This is what I'm going to end on, right? So Fisher's most recent track, You Little Beauty, was actually made a very long time ago. I picked up the track about a year ago, which is about 6 months, 7 months before it even got released. And when I picked it up, I actually found it, and that track was about 6 or 7 months old at that point. So the track was unreleased for about a year. So Fisher, from the point Fisher made it, or from the point Fisher first played it, to the actual release of the track, was about a year. Now let me put this to you, right? If Chris Lake did produce that track, right? If Chris Lake was the sole producer of that track, why would he let his friend sit on that track for a year? Why would Chris Lake go, right, okay, listen, here's the track, get it released. A year later, he's still not released it. It doesn't really make sense to me. And what it kind of feels like is, listen, Fisher made this track. He was kind of, because if you listen to the first demo of it, it's quite different to the one that got released. It's not as finished, it's not as polished, it's not as mastered, it doesn't sound as good, it's missing some elements there. And the finished product was definitely a lot better than the original track that I found like a year ago, right? So what I think's happened is Fisher's just been working. Fisher's just been practicing and actually trying to get better at producing tracks. Because if you listen to the original, you listen to the newest one, there's a lot of difference there. Now you could say, listen, that's other producers, that's other masters getting involved. But I also think that's Fisher as well. I think Fisher is getting better at producing. And I think that going forward, hopefully now, we've heard some more unreleased stuff that we haven't actually got official titles for and hasn't been, part to the public as to buy. We've heard some other stuff and it sounds good. So, I think, listen, we can speculate all day about this and you can kind of bring up different things. But realistically, the only thing that matters here is that whoever is producing these tracks is doing a very good fucking job.